spirit of Women's Month, we're still talking and still keeping up with our theme of empowering women and having thought-provoking conversations. And today is definitely no different. We've got Thobo Khathola in the studio today who will be taking us through this. I mean, we're having this conversation of overcoming gender bias in South Africa and also in the South African education system. I think also it would be beautiful to spread it out in the African diaspora. But that's a conversation that we will have. Khathola has also founded the Lion Tutoring community-based project, which provides assistance to communities such as the SOS Children's Home, as well as Childline and Mahonye primary school. Khathola also plans to branch out more in the African countries, which is exactly what I was talking about. And he's in the studio today. A very good afternoon to you, Thobo.
Afternoon to you, and happy Women's Month.
Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm all good, thank you.
Thank
and
you
how are
also
you?
for playing a pivotal role in this Women's Month and in this Women's Day. We don't take that for granted at all.
Thank you so much, really appreciate it.
So you're an educational specialist. What is that? What do educational specialists do?
Yeah, so we founded a company called Lion Tutoring 6 years back, which is basically a tutoring company. So we employ a couple of 300 young people, both in Botswana and South Africa, for all the different subjects that a student might need assistance with, both here in Botswana, in person. So we deploy tutors to either come to your house, or we do online tutoring. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. And let's talk about this overcoming gender bias, right, in South Africa. I always say this, and I still remain to say this to this day, that I'm not one to believe in equality, I believe in equity. So give me a fair standing chance to play and be part of this field and be part of this game. How have you seen it also in the spaces that you've been in? Also, it's so beautiful because you're seeing it in its foundation phases. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so children, starting off from, boys and girls, there are certain biases that we normally spew down to our kids, to say this game is for boys or this game is for girls, you understand. So starting from that early childhood, then it grows into this subject is usually for boys or this subject is usually for girls. So those are some of the biases that our kids face. And we need to really come up with a way to not spew down how we grew up onto the next generation. Like you say, women should have an equal chance as well as men. There are certain careers that we men shy away because they are female dominated, and vice versa. Women shy away from certain careers even though they might be passionate about those careers, but they end up not going because, what will people say?
That's also a very big one and an important one. And what's the importance of these initiatives and this particular initiative as well that you're doing?
The importance of, really bringing education and tutoring to students' homes is to really improve the pass rate. So that is one of our mandates. We saw that there's deteriorating pass rates. Even for students who go to private schools, there were certain studies made at the University of Pretoria that even students who are going to private schools, they don't perform as well as, in previous years. So as time goes on, the pass rate is getting lower. Unemployment, youth unemployment, especially in women, we know that it is really skyrocketing. So those are the two major things that we're looking to solve: deteriorating pass rates and youth unemployment or unemployment in black women.
And I also think it's important for Batswadi also to come up and stand up for their children when you see it. And then at times, they almost feel like they can solve it. They can do it. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Mathematics isn't your harm. It's okay. There's someone who is great at mathematics and can help. And those tutors are there for that. I almost feel like it's almost become a classist thing, this thing, any tutor, where people think, oh my God, it's tons and tons of money and I can't afford to give my child this thing. So in fact, let's just hope at some point mathematics, solving X will sit in your brain. And that's not how children work.
The thing is, process. So just on your point, we've seen even parents who are teachers themselves not being able to tutor their kids, their own kids, you know, because they get so impatient. And both my parents were educators. My mom was a lecturer, my dad also. And, you know, even if it's subjects that they've done, you know, it's so difficult for them to break through because they have it's emotions attached to it. So how do you not understand this? You know, that you as a child, you're on the receiving side and you're feeling so frustrated that, you know, how am I also not able to understand this? But, you know, having a tutor coming through, somebody who's neutral, somebody who is young and vibrant, you know, our majority of our tutors, we employ 90% of people under the age of 35, and we have a 60-40 split between female, so 60 female, 40 male. Yeah, and it's because of what the market demands. You know, the market actually wants women, or feels safe with women coming through to their homes. A phenomena that we can't explain, but it's a good opportunity for women.
Well, I can start and tell you why. We're nurturers, you know. But anyway, that could go on and on and on. There could be a debate. Let's talk about those main challenges and those barriers that girls are currently facing in pursuing those STEM education and also those careers. We tend to shy away from them because of what we were taught. And a very good point that you pointed out, it even starts at a game. Say boys, girls. And as a result, when we get into careers like this, we also say, I've been conditioned that that's for men and that's for girls.
No, absolutely. You are absolutely 100% right. And we see that even, you know, in the schooling system, you know, when kids go out to play, you know, we normally say this is games for boys. These are subjects that boys do. Think of it back into varsity, you know. You know that the engineering class, you'd get there and you'd find that you'd be amazed when a lady is telling you they're studying engineering, you know, which is one of the things that we really need to unlearn, because, you know, women have the same capabilities. I actually read an article 2 weeks back of a lady who's dominating the truck driving, you know. So truck driving has always been, and she's doing really good. And there were studies also just done around her to see that females or ladies actually have a better concentration on the road than men. Of course, yes, it does require a little bit of physical capabilities, but they're not that bad, you know. The same with a mining engineer, you know. It's not that bad in terms of the physical. You'd even find that even women are actually more physically capable to do the job than men, you know. So it's just one of those things that we really need to unlearn as a society.
100%. And talking about that, there also needs to be quite a lot of investment that comes into these kind of spaces. We want to make it inclusive. We want women also to have a fair standing chance. There also needs to be the same kind of investment that goes into it. For me, you can tell me all these things that you want and say, you know, we want to include women in it, but if you're not investing in it, I'm not thinking you're just as serious. How important is the investment into these kind of campaigns, into these kinds of educational systems to ensure that women get a fair standing chance?
Putting your money where your mouth is, right? So we really need to be very intentional about it. STEM, nowadays it's called STEAM. They've included arts into the whole STEM, so it's now STEAM subjects, because, you know, there's a lot of AI driven. And we've seen schools who are very intentional about promoting women to do this. I'm actually privileged to be a friend to one of our mates in Botswana. She's the first military pilot, female military pilot, you know, and she's really intentional about this kind of conversations. We actually do road shows, we go into schools, we sensitize our little girls about education. Me, myself, being a parent of a girl child, you know, it's really important for us to really put our money where our mouth is. If you see that your child has those kind of interests which are around science, technology, engineering and mathematics, you know, put your money where your mouth is. Start off at home, you know, get a tutor for that child, you know, put that child into classes, extra classes from school to sort of build up, you know, that interest into those subjects.
Lion Tutoring has done that. You put your money where your mouth is. And how important was that for you to spearhead this and lead this?
So in Botswana, we've done a lot of CSR projects in Childline, SOS, and some of the government schools. where we started off just offering our services, and both to the girl child and the boy child. With Childline, we're even working with kids who have been in abusive, homes where, they had to be taken away from the homes and housed in a safe place. So we've done that, and as we went along, we attracted investments from your FNB Foundation that actually came through and say, let's actually pay you so that you can do more of these kind of schools. So we've really tried our best, but we're looking for more resources. That's why we're here at the African Bank Radio with Tepi,
You really never know who's listening.
Yeah,
that's the one
absolutely.
thing you don't understand.
Yeah.
We're going out nationally in all our branches. You don't know who just walked into our branch.
Yeah.
Even right now in our campus, you don't know who's currently listening and in which boardroom they're listening to. So I'm just saying, keep on pushing, keep on speaking those words.
Yeah.
What strategies have you seen have proved successful into inspiring young ladies to get into STEM fields, more so at an early age?
Yeah, there's especially in the private schools that I've seen. We've seen where there are programs for young ladies to do robotics. We also try to get as many young girls at least to know about it, because at the end of the day, it's an issue of making an uninformed decision. They probably shy away from sciences because they don't know exactly what is happening in science, in technology, in robotics, and only to find out that it's something that they might be interested in.
Yeah.
Just to give some background, also at the school that I went to, me and another young lady were given an opportunity to skip a grade. And, she really gave me, and we did difficult subjects, like we did add additional mathematics, and this is high school, hey, we did pure maths, we did pure sciences, but I think it's a result of the school, They really try to show women that they can also dominate those kind of subjects that have been dominated by guys, for decades. So it was really intentional for the school, and even us as a organization, as Lion Tutoring, were really intentional to say, young girls, this is what it is. At least make a decision to say, I'm not interested in maths and sciences after having seen what is required, but not just to say, women are good in accounting and then they move into those, or women are good in humanities, then they move to that. At least give them the correct data, the opportunity, because you might be putting into a humanities class an engineer, a civil engineer, an actuarial scientist. You're just relegating into and not to say those subjects are not important, but you might not know that is a civil engineer or an electric engineer.
Yeah, give them that opportunity to reach their full potential.
Absolutely.
I think that's important. And talking about that as well, the importance of getting your mentors and your role models, those are also important, and they encourage you to take different fields you never even thought possible. You might find one tutor or mentor that you have been paired up with, and next thing you realize, oh no, I'm actually not engineering, I'm actually humanities, or vice versa.
Or vice versa, yeah.
Finding the right tutor and mentor, how important is that?
Very important, because even with our tutors, we not only go for people that have studied education, we have engineers, we have lawyers, we have actuaries that have done a postgraduate diploma in education. So it's really like there's also some kind of job shadowing per se, because if I'm there tutoring a child and I'm trained as an economist, I've done economics and statistics and a bit of actuarial science, I'm able to advise that student to say, this is what a career in actuarial science entails. This is what a career in economics entails. This is what a career in econometrics entails, or accounting. We have that industry experience, and most of the tutors themselves have worked in those industries. So it's really important for children to also have a on-job experience. And what parents also do, which is an extra mile, when they have friends, like say you have a friend who's a pilot, it's good for us to, take our kids to our places of work. I know, like many workplaces, to work, exactly, for them to be able to see and build that passion, because it's a whole passion thing. If a child is studying a course in university and they fail 3 times, but they keep going, it's because they've had that passion instilled into them at a young age. They know that this is what I really want to do whether come rain, come sunshine.
I love that. I love that. What strategies can be employed to provide equal access to resources and opportunities for girls who quite honestly don't have that opportunity to have beautiful resources or even see them or even hear about them? And we see this also in disadvantaged backgrounds.
Yeah, I always say it starts in the household. You know, it starts with me being a parent. How do I motivate? How do I equip my child? Start off with simple things as getting a tutor. Start off with simple things as, you know, pushing your child for them to understand all those different careers. And even in an organizational level, in schools, you know, let us not push that narrative down to especially this young generation that is coming after us, that, you know, these careers are certain for certain gender, certain race, you know. I think back maybe 10, 20 years, it was the issue of race, you know. But now it's more of an issue of, you know, female, and because right now race, yeah, it still has those nuances, but it's not as bad as it was 20 years back.
Yeah.
But now the biggest disparity is between male and female, you know, where we're psychologically telling our kids that this career is good for you, this one is not good for you, because when you are a boy, you know, if a boy child wants to do accounting or wants to do humanities, let him, you know. If a girl child wants to do engineering, wants to do those male-dominated skills, nowadays it's easy for all of us. You know, things are not as bad as they were, like I always say, 20 years back. So let's give our kids an equal opportunity.
Equal opportunities, without a doubt. Thobo Khathola in the studio, educational specialist, and we're talking about overcoming gender bias in South Africa and in the South African education system. And we also want to spread it out into the African diaspora, right? And that's what you want to do with your initiative as well.
Absolutely, and we already are. Company that started in Botswana is, you know, doing its most here in Johannesburg, in Pretoria, and because of COVID, we did a lot of online tutoring. We've had students as far as the UK, as far as Canada, as far as Australia, who are doing, because we normally do your Cambridge qualification and your IB, which are international accredited qualifications. So it's easy for Spesihle in South Africa to tutor John Doe in the States, because it's the same curriculum, and Spesihle has probably even went for their postgraduate diploma in that curriculum. So we're really trying to, you know, break these borders. We can have our South Africans tutoring kids abroad. We can have our South African students here being tutored by young, energetic, dedicated tutors like the ones that we have at Lion Tutoring.
Absolutely beautiful. May you continue this story, may you continue this narrative, and I hope that it reaches the right girls, it reaches the right person, and years to come, may they say, oh, I was actually listening to African Backgrounds.
Yeah.
There's this guy, man, his name, yeah, that's what we want. We need that aha moment. As please continue breaking down those barriers, those boundaries, those borders as well. I think it's important that we push this narrative and we push it much harder, because we deserve also an equal foot and an equal standing in the playing field, yeah?
Absolutely, really appreciate it. Can I leave my contacts?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
How do we also book tutors, things like that?
If you want to hear more about us, my WhatsApp number is 0737 759305. That's 0737 759305. And on all social media platforms, it's at Lion Tutoring. We are also on TikTok for the generation. You know, we're going for the young girls, the young boys, you know, they're on TikTok, and we have snippets of our tutorials on our TikTok channel. So if you are a parent and you'd like to see what the tutorials entail, the structure of the tutorials, get onto our TikTok and see some of the videos and see what to expect. And I really appreciate you given the platform.
Oh, always. Thobo Khathola right here on African Back Radio. He is an educational specialist. Thank you so much for the conversation, and all the best on your business.
Thank you.